Hi you guys, it's Wendy coming to you with a project share. This is another commission and the recipient of this is a writer, a novelist, and she requested something that was vintage and also kind of writerly. So I kind of went with that vibe. Another special request is that she asked for it to be, I guess, less adorned because she was going to be putting it in her purse. And this is probably on the large size for putting it in a purse, but I always get carried away because I love images and I love paper. So this is what I came up with. Collage cover. It's actually canvas that I painted on and did jelly prints on. I am going to include this little hairband, and I always do recommend this to folks that buy my things, just because once you start putting things in them, they're only going to get bigger, and you can just kind of keep the alligator mouth at bay by putting one of those around there as it gets bigger. So collaged cover, and you can kind of see it's metallic and kind of grungy looking. I altered Wake Up and Smell the Coffee by Ann Landers. And then I have this kind of sexy little leather tassel, a little bit more on the masculine side, not so foo-foo and frilly with the laces and ribbons and things. So that's what I came up with for the outside. And then let me do a quick flip through here. Went with a neutral color scheme. I've got my fair share of ATCs that I'm repurposing. Tried to go for a bunch of really kind of evocative images, usually of ladies, and definitely with references to writing and books. So we have these little notebook, what do you call them, little tines or whatever. Lots of little envelopes and spots for tucking things. Lots of references to writing with pens and inks and so on. Got this pretty little tag in there. See the butterfly and the gold. Lots of alphabets in here. I did leave a fair share of pages in from the original book just because I thought it would be kind of fun for the sake of writing prompts to, some of these titles and some of these chapters were kind of fun. I have lots of kind of sassy ladies. I love this lady with her stripy socks or tights and her drink. So I included that. I also ended up using a lot of end papers. So the front and back end papers on books always see the quickest aging in a book. And so I really like that. I like kind of things that age and get a patina, as it were. I also like that if it's an old enough book that if you rip it, it's got this deckled edge. So I kept quite a few of those. Lots of scrapbook papers, lots of photographs of evocative places that I thought would make good inspiration, I guess, for a writer. Got this beautiful piece of copper scrapbook paper, a skull, and a magazine image. This was a great find, basically a bunch of keyboard keys all jumbled together. And this is a vintage image of a bookstore. A little pocket. This cute little boy. This little girl who's writing. Lots of, desk, typewriter, writing pen kind of things. I wanted it to really resonate with her, I guess. And hopefully she'll be able to still keep this in her purse. I'm not sure. One of my favorite thrift store finds was a book on flight plans for the Northwest. And so at this point, this is my final Spokane, Washington flight plan. I'm kind of sad about that. But, several Portland and Seattle ones left to use. This came from the back of a 1933 yearbook, and it was ads for businesses, and this one took out a full page ad and provided space for autographs. So I thought that was kind of cool, little place for writing. Lots of keys and buttons and textures. This old camera. This is an odometer for tracking mileage. kind of the inside or the guts of it. And I made lots of vintage, not vintage, but handmade envelopes out of really cool papers. So that's kind of an interesting feature of this particular journal. Here's another stencil letters. And this cool hawk. And this jumble of jewelry. Envelope. This is another feature of this particular journal where I decided that I wanted some images to kind of, sometimes they don't orient right so that I can use them in the way that I want to use them. So for several of the images, I went ahead and adhered them to the spine so that they would kind of spill over onto 2 pages. I have this old grandma in her rocking chair. Paint chips, those always make it into my journals. Tried for lots of texture, wood in this case. And here's another space where I took this image and, you know, I didn't want to cut it and make it fit onto one of these. So I just let it go the expanse of the card, and I think that's kind of cool. Some old rusty pipes, some scrapbook paper with lettering on it. This came from a book on motherhood, and it kind of cracks me up because I'm thinking, I don't imagine, I mean, I don't know what a mom looks like per se, and of course that would get into stereotypes, but these women do not look like they're sort of harried and stressed out by their toddlers, so, you know, whatever. Lots of imagery, lots of places. In this case, I like the lamp and the chair, so I thought that I would include that. And this cool little moody image of a giant mirror, and this, I assume it's like a TV screen in front of it. Kind of interesting. Just a little flip out. It's pretty copper paper. And this heart that I, again, have sort of adhered to the spine so that it spills over onto 2 pages. Writing space, this beautiful illustration of a feather. Here's another one of the original book pages that I adhered. And the questions are interesting. Ever been kissed? Do you smoke? Do you drink? Ever taken LSD? Not sure what that was all about, but as a writer, I found that pretty interesting. Here's paper piercing. I think that's really beautiful. I've never done it myself. And here we have events and the scale of the impact. I just think some of these are so interesting, so I left them in here. I thought she would appreciate it. This little flip out here, a quote. This is from a really old Sears Roebuck catalog, and it's a page for buying fountain pens. And then the writing paper on the inside has a fountain pen. Roses, write your own sheet music. Here's one of those end papers that has somebody's name on it. Wrapping paper. There's another one of my handmade envelopes. This is a book on drawing figures and faces. Thought he looked kind of ominous. Guns N' Roses. Little flip out here, a typewriter. And this is assets and your net worth. There's some books and a bookshelf. An embroidery or cross-stitch book with alphabets. Love these books. This is kind of like an encyclopedia for kids, and it's the sort of things that it thinks that you need to know as a kid, so I thought this was pretty cool. It's on how to do magic tricks. You have this cool textural image of kind of a linen or something with a lot of texture, and then these fake flowers. And look at her. Isn't she beautiful? No idea where I happened upon this image, but I loved it. This fellow, another handmade envelope. My handmade envelopes are super wonky. They're never straight. I probably could get some sort of device that would help me make them straight, but I just kind of eyeball them and I think they're fine. This cool moody image, no idea why there's a cow in the background, but that's cool. This sort of natural image with the ferns and the waterfalls. This little, I suppose, a Madonna statue. There's another end paper. Oh, no, this isn't. This is a kid's geography book. I suppose you're supposed to like identify all kinds of things here. This is kind of a cool page. Bonnie and Clyde. Thought that would be kind of cool. Another advertisement for a fountain pen. And a dictionary ad. Here's my end paper with its deckled edges. Love those. And they're always made with a high concentration of cotton, so they just feel good to write on, just to be a complete writerly nerd. I'll let you guys know that. Book spines. This woman who came out of one of my kind of fashion magazines. I think she's fabulous. A watch advertisement. This was the same book where the magic trick came in, and this is another skill I think that kids should need, and it's some sort of writing in code. So that's pretty cool. Figured she could write up on that if she wanted to. This is a Jerry Garcia drawing from the Grateful Dead, and I've got several of his books, and I just absolutely love his drawings and paintings, so I included that. This cool photograph of somewhere, some sort of public area where it's a tile and somebody has spray painted the word crime. I thought that was fascinating. We have an alphabet. There's another one of those end papers. Some handwriting. This mouse who is on a mousetrap. He's going for the cheese. You can see the motion of the little metal piece above him. And then of course there's an pen and ink below him. And then finally, a couple of other images. This is kind of a piece of art that's fabrics that are strung to a piece of, to a branch, as it were, and they're kind of old and gnarled, and just love that, the way it looks. And then my final image here is a bunch of pens and pencils. So yeah, that's the book. I'm hoping she likes it. I made this detachable. It's got a little clip here, so if she finds that that's kind of annoying and doesn't want it, she can detach it. I'm going to try and figure out how to do that with all of my tassels from now on. But anyway, this is what I came up with. She'll have this little belly band to keep it closed while it gets bigger and bigger as she uses it. But just wanted to share that with you guys, and I will be back soon. I'm going to work on a masculine planner. So that'll be a kind of a new project for me in multiple ways, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. But hopefully you're having a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.